Welcome, all you business geeks, to the Business Geeks podcast, an entrepreneurial show where three friends geek out loud and proud about everybody's business. I'm Super Joe Pardo of superjoepardo.com and independentpodcastconference.com. I'm joined by my two wonderful co-hosts, Jennifer Crawford of the co-founder of Sparent.co, and Samantha Riley of SamanthaRiley.global. This week, we are discussing stealing IP or sharing ideas. How much money do you need to be happy? People friending you on Facebook and then pretty much ghosting you. And then outsource school is apparently taking our lunch money this week. All right. So this week is Sam's episode. So she leads the charge with all of the topics that we will be leading with this week. Did you have fun putting together, Sam?
I did have so much fun putting this together. I entrepreneured out. I really did. It was lots of fun.
No, I love it.
Yeah, I'm loving this new format. It's so cool. You find all the things you can find hiding in the interwebs. It's very cool.
Speaking of the interwebs, before we really get started, right before the show we kicked off, we were talking about the first time that our first experiences with the internet. And Sam, do you want to divulge?
I did, because I was trying to find the video that we were going to talk about today. And I said I felt like that very first day that I saw the internet. And you both were like, oh, I don't know if I can remember it, but I can remember it so distinctly because my mother-in-law was a lawyer and she had it before everyone. She was like, Sam, do you want to come over and try it? I said, yeah, this is so cool. And I remember going in and I, pulled the office chair back and I sat down and I went, now what? Like, what do I type in? Like, I don't know how to do this thing. And it's just, that's exactly how I felt yesterday when I was heading into YouTube. Such a funny memory. Can you guys remember the first time that you tried the internet or your first?
I remember that time where I was just trying to wrap my head around what the internet exactly was. It seemed so mysterious, and I didn't have the capability to really wrap my head around the possibilities. But when I started to kind of see, I remember being awed by it. Like, I knew that this was going to be big and it was going to change our world. Like, just making it, by virtue of just making it so much smaller. Like, I remember the first, like how you could chat with people and get in chat rooms from like all different places and meet people. And who can ever forget that beautiful dial-up sound, that AOL dial-up sound? I learned a lot that I had patience I didn't know I had, waiting, because we all have, or most people have high-speed internet now, and there's no waiting for that connection to happen. But oh my gosh, we were so desperate for that internet that we would wait an ungodly amount of time just to be connected to it.
Oh, and then a friend would ring us and disconnect us.
Oh yeah, there were problems. It was not easy.
You talking about this sound?
Yeah. There it is.
Is such a iconic sound, yet annoying, and yet most people had no idea what was actually doing. Though I am curious, was that sound really, like, I guess, was it necessary? Like, I guess, because it was coming through the modem's, like, speaker, was it actually necessary to have that sound make a sound?
Oh, absolutely. It meant, whoa, Joe.
What, is that too much? Would I get too deep into it?
I can hear me. Oh, there we go. I think when you're sharing the screen, we can hear us lots.
Oh, that's right.
I was going to say it was necessary so the kids knew, don't go near mum or she'll crack it.
I mean, I don't know. I struggle to remember the first time. Well, like, what year are you thinking that it was for both of you?
So that would have been 90,
91, 92, 91.
Oh, I think for me it was a little bit later, maybe around 94, 95.
Yeah, I'm thinking that mine was
the
probably
90s were a
94.
blur. I'm not sure where I was. The internet. I may have gotten sucked into the internet and been lost for a while. Is that what they call the dark net? I don't know.
Oh, Jen, you make me laugh so much.
No, I don't remember the first, like literally the first time. Except I do remember. I think before I ever got to go on the internet, I remember my dad like with one of his friends or something. They were like up in his room, and then they were running downstairs and like freaking out about how they were talking to people in a chat room or something. Like I vaguely remember that, but I don't know what the year would have been. It probably was like 94, 95. Because they were probably running at least Windows 95 at that point. I don't think you would have been running.
Yeah,
Windows
that sounds
3.1.
about right, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have been.
So I remember creating our first website and Microsoft front page. Can you remember that?
Yeah,
Like
I do.
now we're really going down the rabbit hole of.
Well, let's see. When did Windows
stuff.
95 actually launch? Okay, so it was August 24th, 1995. So it probably was in that, maybe not 94, maybe in the 90, 95, 96 realm. And then shortly after that, I was able to get access to the internet.
Well, I tell you what, I don't know about you guys, but I'm glad to have lived a portion of my life before the internet. I think it toughened us up.
Absolutely. And
I mean, no GPS. You had to use a paper map. There was no cell phone. If you got stranded on the side of the road, well, you just had to hope that a serial killer didn't come by because you're going to be there for a while until somebody figured out you were missing and came wandering around the world for you. It was quite hard, much harder. Life was much harder then.
Harder and easier because at the same time, when we had a friend that was being a bit nasty to us, it happened in front of your face in school hours. It didn't happen all day, every day. Some teenagers have got some hard things to deal with bullying, cyberbullying. So I think that in other ways, man, we were tough, weren't we? We lived through the 80s and the 90s.
We were so tough.
But now you have to deal with it 24/7. There's almost no.
That's what I said.
From it.
That's exactly what I was saying. I said some ways it was easier for us.
Yeah.
Well, now we're two kinds of tough. We're pre-internet tough, and we're internet tough.
We're tough square.
Come at me, bro.
Come
at me, bro.
Oh dear.
Well. So, getting back, speaking of the internet, going to a blog, a straight up blog.
Absolutely. No, okay. I don't know about you guys, but I love Seth Godin. I get his daily email. I just think he's one of the smartest guys around on sharing ideas. And into my inbox this week was a little blog of his where he was talking about stealing ideas or stolen ideas or sharing ideas. And I really, really loved his take on this because there's so many people in the online space that will say, oh, so-and-so stole my idea. And I've always been a little bit weirded out about that thought. What's your initial take on stealing ideas?
I mean, I get why people worry about it, but to me, it's like an idea is really the most worthless thing, really. I mean, until you do something with it, it really doesn't have a lot of value. And I think if you don't share it at some point, the chance of it becoming a reality is that much more slim because it just becomes your dirty little secret. I mean, in order to execute, you have to make people aware of it. And really the reality is that most people don't execute. Coming up with the ideas is the easy part. Even if it's a brilliant idea, it's so much easier than making that brilliant idea into something tangible. So, you can be strategic about sharing your ideas. You don't have to, write out the secret formula or give people a secret recipe. And you can, there's certainly documents you can, like NDAs, that you can use to protect yourself. Personally, I don't worry about NDAs as a whole, because I really think it's such a slim chance that somebody's going to take your idea and do something with it.
Totally.
So I'm a big proponent of stealing ideas.
Joe, I'm going to love this. I know.
I said that. So I said this during. I did a talk like I don't know a month ago or something at Tim Gillette's event, and it was all about becoming like the best host that you could possibly be for your show, for your podcast or your event. And the whole like one of the things was like limiting your outside inputs, right? Like watching less TV, watching less, especially things that are related to you. But steal ideas from things that aren't related to you, right? Because you're basically taking an idea that's not in your realm, right, in the box in which you operate, and then bringing it in there, kind of modifying it a little bit, and then inserting it. So it's like, oh wow, look how original this is! Like this is so crazy. It's like, yeah, but if you watched all these YouTubers over here, if you watched all these TV shows over here, if you watched those movies back there, you read those books over there in a whole different niche, in a whole different industry, in a whole different world, all of a sudden it doesn't seem that original anymore. So I'm a big proponent of that idea of like borrowing, reshaping, retooling, and bringing those ideas to your industry. Because just because they've existed doesn't mean that your people, your tribe, your industry has seen them before.
100%. And I'm in the same boat as you, Joe. There isn't an original idea out there, I don't believe, and that the way that we create our thought leadership is to bring all of these ideas together and create a unique take on them, or our own, unique view of what's happening, and then, our thought leadership comes into it. But they're not stolen ideas. Like, you can't steal someone else's idea because you're putting your own take on it. That's my thought on it. And pretty much it's what Seth was saying is that, if you don't share your idea, it can't be viral. And I thought that was really cool.
So like looking at Apple, right, like is a great example of like nothing that they've really done has been original. There was music players before the iPod. They just took a bunch of different technologies and was like, oh, if we package it like this at this price, bam, and a lot of it's software, but even software, like look at Android versus iPhone, right? Like they rip ideas back and forth from each other all of the time. I mean, most of iOS 14 looks like it's ripped off of Android ideas from literally 5 years ago. It's kind of crazy. Is it, are they as well implemented as Apple's going to do it? Probably not, but they had it. It was there. It existed. So you're right. There's very few original ideas. Most of them are just evolutionary over, they're not revolutionary. They're evolutionary on or iterary on top of other ideas that have already existed.
I think the only one thing that I would put in there that I don't believe was in that article is that when you do share someone else's idea, I still think it's really cool to give someone attribution for that.
Absolutely.
So, that's the only bit. So rather than copy it and take it off as your own, it's sharing someone else's idea and saying, I originally learnt this from, or I originally came across this idea from, because I think that curating other people's ideas is okay. But, giving attribution is a nice thing to do.
Yeah. Well, and it is. It's something I do all the time. Like, you see me like, oh, like, where did the facial expressions come from on the videos? Hey, go check out PewDiePie. Go check out these other, all these other people in these other industries. I have no problem with showing it because it's just what I watch. So it's a piece of, because if I try to just pretend like it's not, somebody's going to figure it out, and somebody's going to be like, oh, he's a big fat phony. There's that big fat phony over there. Like, and it's like, no, that's not what's happening here. Well,
so that's a really good way of putting it, in that by you giving attribution, it means that you're authentic and no one can call you out on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
nice.
You're up front. Thanks. Ding, ding.
Yeah, I thought that was a really good blog. Stolen ideas versus shared ideas. Really liked it.
I do too. I think it's a really healthy way to look at it, particularly when, you've all known business people that have like you know, they won't share anything about their business with you until you sign an NDA. And you're like, dude, I'm not going to steal your idea. I'm not going to do anything with it. I don't have enough time. You know, like, let's just talk. But they're so protective of everything. Like, they hold it so tight. So I think those people are still going to have a hard time letting go, maybe, of sharing. But I think it's an excellent way to look at it.
Well,
Absolutely.
wait, there is an example I could think of. I don't want to name names, but there's an example I can think of somebody that I knew who had their service. You know, they offered the service or a line of services, and one of their clients basically did all this, you know, took all the services and then was like, oh, I'm just going to do this myself now. And they went and did it. And then became their competitor, became their competitor in the process. But there's a lot to be said for the fact that, like, it's, as you said, Jen, I gotta have time to do that. So you're committing time that you're not going to commit to something else that may be better suited for you to go and pursue that in the first place. So, you know, the percentage of people that have that kind of level of time is still pretty low.
Totally. So I think the stolen ideas are more around not giving attribution and people taking those ideas off as their ideas. I guess that's my take on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
cool.
Yeah. So speaking
talking
of cool,
about cool.
speaking of cool, what's your one cool thing?
Have you guys seen the website answerthepublic.com? Now, I actually knew this from a while ago. So, Jen, you have, haven't you?
Well, that face that I just had was just my excitement because I used it today, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I am so glad that Sam brought this to my attention. I'm going to use this. It's very practical."
So I knew about this a few years ago, and then I forgot about it for a few years and rediscovered it last week and went, why did I forget about this site? This is so cool. So answerthepublic.com, you can go there to get this whole gold mine of content ideas. It's great for coming up with ideas to blog or, you know, to write any sort of content about. It's really cool to do research for products. But you just it says use 1 to 2 words to make it nice and clean. But, you know, you can put in something like thought leadership and it will come up with 100 and something different ways to ask questions. It brings up a visual mind map. It brings up a list. It brings up ideas from A to Z. It's just so cool. And although you can get caught down the rabbit hole of Answer the Public.
But it's great. I love this chart, and it's so smartly, delineated into like which and how and why questions. So yeah, I did that. I did it for virtual assistant. And I got great ideas for blog posts and things just from doing that. It just took a second, literally. And I was like, wow. Oh, wow, this is amazing. I could map out content for months with this.
Oh,
I love
I think
that.
it would be like forever. You could almost do content forever off that. There's so much there.
And it's free. I mean, there's a free level.
Yeah.
I don't pay for it.
That's crazy. So if you click on, okay, so how do you get deeper in it? I guess you just start like typing 2 different words that are related to what you're looking up.
Yeah.
Okay, leadership examples. Okay, cool. So then oh, that makes sense. Wow. Yeah. No, I'm definitely going to be using this.
Yeah, it
is
cool.
so good.
Mary Sue's with us, and she says the dude is super annoying, though.
Oh, totally. He's just super weird.
Is it this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why he's
this
there.
guy.
Not sure why he's there. But he's got I feel like he's like looking right at me. It's so creepy.
It is a bit creepy. So just get your words in there ASAP so you don't need to see him anymore. I'm sure he's a nice guy. I'm sure he is.
I'm sure. He's very, very handsome. Very handsome.
But yeah,
awesome.
great find for that one. That one cool thing.
That is cool. So answerthepublic.com. So the video you picked for this week involves money and whether or not you need a lot of it or a little bit of it or how much you need of it to be happy. So you wanna
Look,
elaborate
it's the
on that a
title
little bit?
that kind of got me. It says, "How much money do you need to earn to be happy?" And it got me intrigued because normally we say, does money buy happiness? This was actually saying, well, how much money do you need to earn to be happy? And I think that it's a really good separation from does money buy happiness, because this is a stance that I've always taken. It's pretty hard to be happy if you don't have a roof over your head, or to be unable to buy food, or just to look after the essentials. So this is actually talking about the amount that they have found to be that number. Did you?
I've heard of it. I've heard that before. The number $70,000 a year.
I was super surprised it was that low.
You also live in Sydney.
Well, yeah. But we're still not talking hundreds of thousands, right? I honestly thought it would be a lot more than 70,000.
Well, it's not that they can't. I mean, look, we all live, the three of us live in very expensive areas, right? DC, Sydney, and I probably live in the cheapest of the three areas, but even then it's still very expensive comparative to central, America, like the middle America and stuff like that. So I don't know, $70,000, isn't going a whole long way around here, let alone where either of you live.
Yeah, but for most of the world, it will be stretched. I think we're probably a small percentage of the global population. So there's probably some averaging going on, so they could come up with a number.
Oh, they did mention that.
Yeah. But I've heard this study before, but I still think it's so fascinating. And there was something that in there to sort of explain this phenomenon of why after a certain amount of money, the $70,000, our happiness is, we don't get more happy the more money we make. And it's something called hedonic adaptation, which I'd never heard of. So I'm always ready to learn a new word. So I love this. But it's this theory that people are really good, all of us are really good at getting used to change, and particularly good changes. So even as our salaries increase and that sort of thing, we'll enjoy it for a little while, but then we sort of just kind of get used to it, and it feels like the norm again until that next bump up. So and that next bump up is a little bit smaller of a bump up in terms of feeling happier about it, because we're just sort of adapting along the way, which is kind of interesting. I think it makes us very resilient in a lot of ways, the way we adapt. But in this case, as it relates to happiness, it's very interesting.
Well, just going on from that, Jen, they were talking about someone that, had that $150,000, $200,000 salary, and they'd seen that previously as successful. And then what happened is exactly that. He kept updating lifestyle. And then all of a sudden he wasn't happy in his job before. And then he felt trapped because he had to stay in that job to be able to continue to pay his bills. So just the way that was unpacked, I went, yeah, okay, that totally makes sense.
Yeah, no, it totally. I mean, I've lived it. I know for a fact that that's the case.
Well, they say more money, more problems.
It is. Ding ding. It is. It absolutely is. I think that the $70,000 makes a lot of sense as long as you keep all of your other bills in check. It's because $70,000 a year it can really quickly become nothing, right? If you're like, oh, I get, and then you start like, oh, my credit cards can go up to this, and then you're looking at 3, 4, 5, 10 years to pay off these these debts that you've mounted up because of $70,000, which, truth be told, $70,000 isn't like some earth-shattering number at this point in the game, right? In the game of life. So I think that I think it's one of the reasons why like they need to do more with teaching of like numbers and that kind of stuff in the schooling systems to teach kids like how much this actually could, like, oh cool, you're gonna go to college and like, oh, it's gonna be $125,000 this semester, like a year. You know how long it's going to take you to pay back? Like, do you understand?
I only just found out yesterday down the YouTube rabbit hole that I was in how much you guys pay for university over there. I was astounded. It is ridiculous.
It's criminal, is what it is.
It is. It really is. I thought it
is.
was expensive in Australia. I thought it was criminal here, and we got nothing on you. I was like, how do these kids do it? Do you guys pay your uni debts for like forever? Oh, you call them
Some
student
people
loans,
do.
don't you?
A lot of people do. I didn't have any student loan debt. I mean, I dropped out of college to start my own business because I figured it out. I was like, it makes no sense for me to walk out of that veterinary school with all this debt when I'm only going to make a small portion of that. It's going to take me forever to pay this off. It made no sense to me. The math did not work out. So I ended up working with animals in a different way by starting my own pet sitting company. That was my workaround. But yeah, and even back then, that was a while ago, college was a lot cheaper than it is now. I mean, it's 10 times as expensive.
Oh, it's incredible.
That's why, like, talking with my boy Mike, he's like, these boomers, man, they're like, oh, I went to college. I had 2 jobs. I pumped gas and worked as a busboy, and I worked my way through college, and I got out. I didn't have any debt, and then I bought a house for $30,000.
Yeah,
He's
right.
like, okay. Like, if you had to do it in today's society, you're not even going to scratch that debt. Like, you're barely going to be able to eat on that pumping the gas and just busting tables thing. And that's only because you're probably eating half the food that's left over from the people you're busting the tables from.
I worked 3 jobs in college. It was not enough to pay for college, I assure you. Wow. I was lucky if I could cover my books,
That's incredible. Yeah.
It's atrocious.
Mm-hmm. No wonder Garrett. Now I understand why Gary Vee bangs on about it so much. Now I've seen the numbers.
Yeah, because it doesn't make sense for everybody. It really doesn't, and it doesn't make sense that they would drill it in like, oh, if you don't go to school, you must be a loser. Like, okay, well, not everybody.
Loser here.
Well, go ahead, Joe.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, but even so, like, even though it's inflated so much over in the last like 20 plus years, right? The college thing, it's still potentially a really good deal if you know what you're going for and you're on that. I mean, a small percentage of people are going to do that and know what path they're really on when they're doing it. But the thing is, like, okay, so even if you spend $200,000, it's not that bad, right? Like, it's really not. When you take it over the fact that, like, okay, I'm going to work till at least I'm 55, or probably 65, maybe even 70 or 75 in that career to pay it down, assuming that everything is going to work out well. $200,000 is nothing, and that's probably why they can justify like just racking up the dollar total and how much it costs to get.
Oh my gosh, I think 200,000 is way too much. Well, particularly because a lot of people don't stay in the same career. Like,
that was exactly what I was about to say. Because the average now for someone to be in a career is 10 years. So if someone pays $200,000 to go to university, they need to have that return within 10 years before they're generally going back to study to change careers. That makes a big difference.
Yeah.
It's tough. Oh, yeah. In the meantime, there's interest on top of that, even if it's relatively low interest because it's a student loan, there's still interest. A lot of people delay their student loans. I don't know. I just think there are other ways.
No pensions. There's no pensions in most of those jobs, right? So it's not like, oh, I went to work for the Ford Motor Company. Like, hooray! I worked there for 30 years, got my pension, and my third, even if it was $150,000 investment to be able to jump into that job is okay. I'm taking care of for the rest. Like, I'm pretty much taking care of for the rest of my life. Like, well, that's not a thing anymore. So
no, it's completely different.
You're right.
Now.
You're right. That it is a good that's an offset of like whether or not it's a good idea to invest that kind of money.
Yeah, I think the real scary thing is that there are three things that have really skyrocketed in price over the past few decades, and that's been education, housing, and healthcare. However, our salaries, your average salary, has not increased nearly to the degree that those 3 things have, and those are the 3 things that will bankrupt you, right? Not having health insurance, not being able to afford your college loans because your salary is so poor in comparison to what your debt, and your housing. Joe, you made the point earlier that your friend, hey, I used to be able to graduate college and get your first house. Well, now you graduate college and you move in with your parents until you can get a job and save up some money. I mean, the world has changed economically in such a short period of time. And I'm surprised we don't talk more about it. Like it seems like we've all just sort of accepted it as the way it is. But I think some real, corporate greed and who knows? I mean, I'm not an economics expert, but I know that something went awry along the way. And it shouldn't be that way. And we're talking about happiness. It's so much harder to be happy when you have to struggle for an extended amount of time just for the basics,
just to live.
Live.
Yeah.
So let me just bring the show down. Okay. If you were happy, now you're not, because I'm depressing you with my observations. Sorry. But I mean, did you guys Joe, do you relate to that? I don't know about how it is at Sydney, but in the US, I mean, that is exactly what's happened over the years.
Yeah. I mean, it is not taken into consideration that like my generation, like, hey, when we came out of college, 2008, the world is pretty much everything's on hold and everything's going into the toilet. So congratulations, you got your $80,000, $150,000 education. There's no job for you because people screwed us, so like hooray. And then we crawl our way out of that and into the 2012 mini recession and we've hit more in the last 20 years. I mean, from 2001, even before me graduating in 2004, like, the world is just such a different place in such a short period of time that I could totally understand why people kind of don't want to talk about it too much or bring it up and just be like, oh, well, back in, when I was 25 years old and 25 years old and 30 years old and like, okay, cool. But like things are a little bit different now and they move at a much faster pace too. We're all trying to stay up on top of how fast life is moving. And in some ways, like I would say like, oh, well, people that complain like, oh, this doesn't work or blah, blah, blah. Like, why, my phone isn't connected to the thing. Like, okay, yeah, but you know how much time has been saved from that? Like from that thing working when it does work? Like, it's okay.
Completely different world, right?
So it is completely different. I don't know. But I am thankful that, as you both were saying that you were thankful to grow up in the time before the internet. I've mostly lived in the time of the internet, with the exception of like the first 10 years ish of my life. I'm grateful I got the internet, and I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to be on it at such an early age. At the early age of both the internet for the general public and an early age of myself.
I'm so glad that you are grateful, Joe, because if we refer back to the video, they also talk about ways that we can enhance our happiness, and being grateful, having gratitude for what we do have was one of those components of maintaining a happy state, as well as experiences over possessions, which I totally get that. I totally agree with that. So we get a lot more of happiness and fulfillment from experiences. So travel or doing an activity, much more than buying a TV or a car. That's just across the board. I don't care who you are. Like you're going to get more happiness out of those experiences. I know that's true for me. I don't know.
100%. That's why I traveled so much.
Yeah.
For that, you get to meet new people. But there was 3 things to happiness that they talked about just after that, Joe, and it was Jen, personal growth. Sorry, the sun's up now. Personal growth, connection, and contribution to community. And I think that if you tie in the money with those 3 things, that's where the happiness comes from. So, if I'm thinking about connection, it's that I get to travel the world and hang out with people that I wouldn't have been able to do, many years ago. I mean, Ava is reading Wombat Stew.
Yeah.
Probably a little American lovely girl would not have known what Wombat Stew was 20 years ago.
Most would probably not.
No, exactly. So being able to use our money to on personal growth, connection, and contribution to our community is where the key is.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
Absolutely.
Do you guys have a number, an income number that guarantees your happiness? Is it 75? Do you think it's higher?
Mine is definitely a little bit higher than that.
Definitely for me, it's a bit higher.
Me too.
Yeah, I mean, look, I would say probably between 130 to 150.
Yeah,
Just
because
so
at
I
that
can
point,
pay,
at that point, it just that you can pay the bills. You don't need to stay awake at night thinking, "Can I pay that? Can I pay that?" So
I've been there too. It's not fun.
Yep, so have I, and it is not fun at all. It is not fun not being able to afford groceries. Thank goodness those days are behind.
Yes, thank goodness.
Ding, ding.
Yes, grateful.
So, grind my gears, Sam. What's your? I almost called you Jen. What's that?
No, it's me. I know I don't do this often, but I just really embraced being Jen for a moment, and I just got so wound up. So many people have been reaching out to me on Facebook recently. I have no idea who they are. Okay. That doesn't bother me. I'm okay to be friends with people. I'm a very friendly person.
What?
But when I send them a message and say, thanks for connecting, I'd love to know more about you, what inspired you to connect, radio silence. Like, why did you ask to be my friend? Like, what is that all about? Does this happen to you guys? It gets me so grumpy.
It does.
Maybe I'm less friendly because I don't know, lately I've been much more selective in who I friend. I used to accept any sort of friend as long as they were, had a profile pic, they weren't some weird guy, and they were we had mutual friends. I didn't ask a lot of questions. But lately I have been more picky because I've had too many experiences where I've accepted a friendship and then I get a DM, not like yours, Sam, but just immediately trying to sell me something and it's, it gets exhausting. And honestly, I'm at that friend level where my news feed is it's got enough. I belong to enough groups. I've liked enough pages. I don't want to bring in more people's stuff that I barely know. So I've gotten a little less, but I guess I would be annoyed, Sam, if I messaged somebody and they didn't message me back.
Oh, I got even better.
That I saw it?
I swear to goodness, I'm going to start doing that. I got one even better this week, and it was probably the one that annoyed me more than ghosting me. Automatically added me to their Facebook group.
Oh, see, that's what I'm afraid.
Don't do it.
You can still do that?
It.
I thought you could only invite. Because you used to be able to automatically.
You know what? Maybe it was invite. All I saw was just this straight Facebook thing coming up, and I'm like, no, I don't know you, and I don't want to be in your Facebook group.
No, I don't want to be in another Facebook group. It's too much.
Grumpy Sam.
Grumpy Sam. If I message you, you better message me back.
Well. And they should. Look, I've gotten to the point where a lot of times I'm just not hitting the accept unless they've already messaged me. Like if you don't send me a message and you're just hitting the friend thing and I haven't had some kind of interaction with you, I'm not hitting it. And I'll tell you another thing that I'm not hitting anymore is the accepting friend requests from people that I'm already friends with. Like, I know that I'm friends with these people because I know they're real people. And then I get these other requests and I'm like, okay, I see other people have already accepted, right? Is it, did somebody create their account again? I don't know.
Yeah,
they haven't messaged me.
So
I'm just like, you know what? I'm just ignoring it. And you know what? My follow count goes up. And I'm like, everything gets everything finds a way.
Why do they do that though? Why do they create a profile with someone else's face? Like, what's the actual,
I don't know what the end
I don't get it.
I haven't figured it out, but I think they're trying to get information or spam you with something you don't want. I don't know. I don't know what the end game is and how it actually works, but I've had that happen too, where people I'm friends with try to friend me and I'm like, oh, it's a duplicate account, spam.
Yeah, I don't know why they do that.
It's got to be because they're trying to scam you out of something. Like, hey, I'm stuck. Like when people would get their Facebook profiles jacked, like with their passwords, and they'd be like, oh, Joe, I'm stuck in such and such and some hoodlums in the UK, and they robbed me and they took my wallet and all this stuff. And can you wire me money through, to this account? And I'm just like. Okay, let me pick up. I actually know this person. Let me pick up my phone and call them and say, "You need to change your darn password, please. Change your password." But it's so weird that they don't just change the pass. Like they've already got logged into your profile, so like they know your email address. They know at least that password. I'm surprised they don't just. Why not just change the password and call it a day, and then you wouldn't have access to your account. In fact, somebody I know, got their Facebook page hijacked. They they wrote oh crud, who Olga Nestorova.
Well, Facebook offers two-factor authentication, and I recommend that you take them up on that.
I would agree. See, like she said, hey guys, kindly unfollow my page. It has been stolen from me. Someone hacked it and removed me from being an admin. Although it's verified with a blue tag, Facebook refuses to help me and delete it. It's extremely unfortunate. If someone knows anyone who works for Facebook, please let me know. Thank you. Friends, please stop following this page.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if you're that person that knows somebody at Facebook that can actually do something? I mean, you must have to hide in like a bunker. Like, because you would be pestered all the time.
Yeah.
I do. I know the person who knows somebody at Facebook. He's now living 4 miles underground because he's got to avoid everybody's requests.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's that'd be super frustrating. So I'm concerned. Like, I mean, I had two-factor authentication. Do either of you get this all the time? I get this. Well, it's been a little while now since I've gotten it last, and I'm gonna get jinxed because it's gonna totally happen. But I get text messages sometimes up to like 3, 4, 5 times a day of people requesting to change my password. Do either of you get this?
Oh, no.
Yeah, so it happens, and then I'll get emails too saying the same thing, like, "Oh, your password was requested to be changed," and I get the text messages, I get the emails, and I'm just like, who was trying to hack my Facebook account?
Just no one cares about mine. I'm just not cool enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not influential enough. Like, sorry, not good enough over here.
It's all those live streams, Joe. You're drawing.
No, but this has been going on for like a year. This has been going on for like over a year. Like, and it just sometimes it'll be a run. Like sometimes like 2-3 times in a day, it'll happen. Yeah, it's crazy. Well, I get like every once in a while, like, every 6 months, like somebody like typed in the wrong, email address or something to like reset the password, but not like 3-4 times, sometimes in a day.
Wow.
Yeah. So, Sam, who's getting your lunch money?
Outsource School is getting my lunch money this week. So I actually interviewed Nathan on my podcast, which my other podcast, Thought Leaders Business Lab, today, and they do education around how to hire a virtual assistant, how they've got all the playbooks to help like a virtual assistant get you on podcasts and look after your email management, look after your calendar. And I actually think this is sort of great for your clients too, Jen, because there's so many people that hire VAs and then kind of don't get it right. And they say things like, it doesn't work. Hiring a virtual assistant doesn't work. And Nathan and Connor have put this amazing program together called Cracking the VA Code. I'm actually in their community, and the playbooks they've got of what you can get a virtual assistant to do and how to train them to do it. I was like, oh, thank you. And that they have so it's Cracking the VA Code, and then they've got a software to build SOPs, playbooks, all these really cool things. They're adding to it every couple of weeks, but they're doing a July 4th sale at the moment. And I know if you go to that, I'll drop a link in there, because they've actually given me a 25% off coupon code. So if you go to samanthariley.global/outsource and use the coupon code LAB, you will get that at 25% off. I can highly recommend it.
It sounds awesome. Talk about stealing ideas. When you shared this, I was like, oh my God, why haven't I thought about this? I mean, we have resources that we give clients because you're right. It is hard for people to work with a virtual team and to delegate and to do it correctly the first time. It's a learning process for business owners. And there's a lot that we have to sort of like handhold and help them through in order for them to get the most out of their virtual assistants. So when I saw that somebody just created this whole course around it, I was like, well, of course, there's like so much to know. Like, why didn't I think about this? So I might be beefing up our resources around this. I'm very interested in, and I'm admiring this right now.
Yeah, I can highly recommend it. It's laid out just very step by step. They even do screen shares of them interviewing their virtual assistants to help you understand like what you're looking for, what what you don't do, what you do. Very good. So Outsource School has taken my lunch money.
I love it. Nathan's a great guy. I talked to him like 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. We had a good conversation on the phone for a while.
Outsourcing is a great word. Outsourcing and delegating.
Oh, delegation. I mean, seriously, how sexy is that word?
So sexy.
Just delegation.
Delegate your way to success.
Yes. Anyway, Jen, I can't wait to see what you produce for us next week.
Oh, it is my show next week.
It is your show.
Buckle your seatbelts.
I've got a feeling we're going to be really, really entrepreneuring out next week.
Who knows what is going to happen? I just want you all to be prepared. I have been given the freedom to format or at least plug in the components of the format for my episode, and I am going to take full advantage of this freedom, this opportunity.
Love it.
I love it. I can't wait. And if you can't wait, and if you've enjoyed this episode of the Business Geeks podcast, share it with the business geek in your life. Send us your questions and suggestions to questions@businessgeekspodcast.com. Catch us next Monday, 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and Tuesday, 7 a.m. Australian Eastern Time here at facebook.com/businessgeekspodcast. It's been a lot of fun. I'm enjoying the new format. So thank you very much for Jen and Sam for pushing to this new format and this new time. So ding for that, because I'm enjoying this new time. I know I'm trying to get myself free of the 8 o'clock stranglehold that it's had on me for the last several years now. Moving everything out of the 8 o'clock slot and into the 8 to 5 kind of slot, mostly 9 to 3 slot. Just so that I can reclaim my nights, get creative again, get back to DJing, get back to playing some video games, getting back to spending time with the family and not rushing around to do it. So thank you so much to both of you for helping enable this change.
Well, you're very welcome. I didn't realize there was so much change going on. I love it. I like the new time as well.
Oh, good. Sam, are you enjoying getting up early? Are you waking up early?
Yeah, it's a 5:30 a.m. wake up. We'll get there.
I'm trying to get back to that, because this morning I woke up at like 8:30 in the morning, and I'm like, I cannot keep doing
That's
this.
Late.
No.
Yeah, I don't think I've. Yeah, that's really late for me.
That is late. I know. It's because we're staying up too late. Yeah, so I need to get to bed earlier so I can go running and get my things on and get everything together through the day, and then have my nights free to do creative things. So I'm looking forward to the 5 o'clock hour doing the show. I'm going to go eat dinner. Everybody, have a great week. I look forward to seeing everybody 5 p.m. Eastern next Monday or Tuesday at 7 a.m. Australian Eastern Time. Take care.
Bye.
I should put some music. I should put some music on there as we rock out to the out here, right?